Posted by u/sweetvixen 1996, July 20, 2020. AITA for advising my friend against coming out? I know the title sounds bad, but hear me out. Also, I apologize for using any incorrect terminology related to the topic. Okay, so I, 23F, have a friend, Sam, same age, who is a female to male transgender individual. However, I am one for very few people who know this, and he generally still presents as female. This is because his family, mom, dad, grandfather, are all, quite frankly, horrible homophobes. Seriously, I have been to their house 3 times since Sam and I met in middle school, and each time one of them has launched into some sort of hateful rant completely unprompted. Now, here is where it gets complicated. Horrible as he might be, Sam's grandfather is very wealthy, and Sam is set to inherit $2,500,000 when he dies, which will probably be soon due to the man's rather serious health conditions. Sam has seen the will and knows this for a fact, but he also knows he'll be disowned if he came out as transgender to his family. Because of this, Sam has stayed in the closet and continues to present as female. Thought he took to cutting his hair shorter and dressing more androgynously in college for the sake of staying in good standing with his grandfather. Sam has always been very open about his plan to fully come out and deal with the consequences after he had the money. But today at 5:30 in the morning, Sam called and woke me up to tell me that he was considering coming out to his family soon and that he thought it was dishonest to continue with the lie for money, but asked my advice. I was shocked, but honestly told him I thought it was a bad idea. I explained that the $2,500,000 would allow Sam to finally live his dream life, pay off student debts, get a sex change surgery, maybe get a house, etc. Then I pointed out that Sam would almost certainly be thrown out of the house for doing so. He still lives with his parents for some complicated reasons, and he wouldn't be able to stay with me if that happened because, on top of living in a 1-bedroom apartment, I babysit my 6-year-old immunocompromised younger brother twice a week, and I cannot risk cross-contamination from Sam, who is an essential worker. I also wasn't shy about making my opinion that his family wasn't worthy of honesty extremely clear. Anyway, after I was done explaining all of this, Sam just burst into tears and before hanging up. I was confused, but it was also only 5:45, so I just rolled over and went back to bed. Later in the morning, I woke up to a bunch of text messages from Sam saying that I was a bad friend, a horrible person, and claiming him homophobic/transphobic. Now, I could not give a damn about a person's sexual orientation or gender identity if you paid me. I am simply a deeply pragmatic person, and Sam knows this, so it really hurt to read these text messages. I didn't respond at first and decided to talk this over with my mother, who is aware of Sam's situation. Anyway, AITA, now on to some comments before the updates. Posted by Doc Mel, NTA. Your advice, while unpleasant, was sound. It's not even about the inheritance. It's that he is living with horrible, transphobic parents who would disown him if he came out. It's hard to know whether he'd be safe if he did come out, or whether he'd be homeless, or whatnot. He needs to get to a place where he can safely support himself before he comes out. I would sit down with the friend and calmly explain what you said here, and maybe recommend that he find a therapist that he can bounce things off of, and that you'll help him in any way you feasibly can. I, as a cis, straight male, have no idea how hard your friend actually has it. But I can sympathize. Posted by Mick96, NAH. This situation is incredibly nuanced, and I can understand why Sam reacted the way he did, yet his life will only get harder if he opens up to his nightmarish parents. Given a little time, he will reap the benefits of his patience, and his parents will be a non-issue. Posted by They Call Me Midlight, NAH. Some people aren't worth fighting. Besides, Sam asked for your advice. If he wasn't ready to hear about it, he shouldn't have asked. He's probably in a very stressful situation that he wants to get out of, and you probably gave him a piece of reality he wasn't ready to face is all. Try to talk to him. After all, you meant no harm. OP responded with, I did tell him that, at the very least, he should get a new place to live before doing so. He also got upset when I said he couldn't live with. I think that was his assumption, and normally I'd be happy to let him crash on my couch, but given everything going on in the world, it just isn't doable. Chonky Monkey responded with, I agree, and I think they both kinda screwed up, depending on how Op told Sam. Sam did overreact calling Op homophobic, and a bad friend, but in the moment, it seems like Op is siding with the family, even though she isn't. Posted by Throwaway 1316871. NAH. But I think your advice was too hasty. Waiting for someone to die is a good way to watch your youth slip away. Even the unhealthiest of old men can hang around for years. What if the grandfather lives another 10 years? Long-term health care is expensive. How much of the money will be left if he lingers for a long time? OP responded with, his grandfather is suffering from both stage 4 lung and stomach cancer on top of being 78. He is already in hospice care, he has another 2 years at most. Posted by Alternative at 5925. Ugh. I can't even give a rating for this. It's very difficult. I agree with you that Sam should just say F them. I'm taking my 2.5 mil and bouncing because housing, college, and sexual reassignment is expensive as F. However, as a trans person, living a lie every day is so unbelievable unbearable, especially if he has transphobic parents. Every day you are misgendered, called the wrong name, and made to dress and act in ways you don't want and feels utterly humiliating and wrong. For hours. Sometimes days. It's suffocating and makes it difficult to get close to people, especially family. I also can see why Sam would be hesitant to lie for the money because I can already tell his family will throw a shit fit and call him a mooch or any other gold digger additives. Also, I'm sure Sam was looking for some support in coming out, not advice advising against. In the end, only Sam knows when it's time and when he's ready. This is a toughie, man. I would try to reach out to Sam if you can and apologize for not being more supportive, and that while you had good intentions in your thought process, you didn't realize he was looking for support in such a difficult situation and that you should have been supportive of his high road approach. I have a lot of respect for your friend Sam. Even though his family is ignorant, you can tell he still loves and respects them enough not to use their money in ways he knows his grandfather wouldn't want. I can see why he would be hesitant to be painted in even worser light if he takes the money. Just sending good vibes to Sam, man. Poor kid. Now on to update 1 on Sam. Okay, so I want to thank everyone on my original post for their different perspectives and that everyone was able to calm and respectful. I'll be the first to admit that, while I have my own issues, I obviously cannot fully relate to Sam's struggles, and I probably could have been nicer about my concerns. In my own defense, he did wake me up at 5:30, so I was pretty dazed and grouchy. I also wanted to elaborate on the money situation and why Sam and I probably view that 2.5 mil very differently. Sam and I come from very different financial backgrounds. I came from a poor, blended household of 6 children and was the second eldest child. We never starved, my extended family we are all very close, but luxuries were hard to come by, and there were times my twin brother and I were both working multiple part-time jobs to keep the lights on or to replace the water heater when it broke for the second time. I was only able to attend the same private schools as Sam was because of merit-based scholarships. I and my family as a whole am in a much better position now money-wise, as I work 2 well-paying jobs, one of which is footing the bill for me to get my doctorate degree, but I still have a lot of money-related anxiety. Sam, however, has always been rich and, while his family are all pick, they never hesitated to spoil him financially. I used to call him a Visa kid, which is like a latchkey kid but with his father's Visa card which he was free to use on whatever he wanted. Sam never bragged about having vastly more money than I did, but there were definitely times when he was accidentally insensitive about it. He once commented about how run down my house was after seeing where my stepdad had patched up some leaky pipes with neon orange duct tape, for example. Despite this, Sam usually had dinner at my house. My mom is a great cook, about twice a week, oblivious that my parents budgeted for each meal very carefully, and him being there was honestly an inconvenience. They both felt bad for him though and never said anything. Currently, Sam has a well-paying job as a hospital lab tech but has no real savings and is, in general, terrible with money. He has no idea how to budget because his family has always paid for everything, and the only reason he has student loans is because they refused to pay for some study abroad Sam wanted to do. When I said he still lives at home, what I actually meant is that he lives in his parents' guest house completely rent. They even buy his groceries for him, so the money he makes from his job is basically spent on video games, clothes, collectibles, etc. My point is that Sam could definitely afford to live on his own / be financially independent if he wanted to, but I'm genuinely concerned how he'd take the downgrading it would require. Anyway, on to the update. I went home today for our standard Sunday meal and talked things over with my mom. She says that it sounds like Sam had already decided to come out and was looking for support / validation instead of advice, but didn't want to outright ask for it. Mom also says that while she agrees with me, she thinks I could have been gentler and that I should apologize for the sake of the friendship. I, however, was conflicted. I don't believe in false apologizes because they are demeaning to everyone involved. I also don't like that Sam went fishing for validation and support instead of just asking for it, because I think that is manipulative. As I've said before, I am a very pragmatic individual and think it would be foolish that give up so much money when you were so close to getting it. Still, I also know it has been for Sam to keep such a big part of himself a secret for so long, so I thought about all the comments left on my original post and what Mom said and eventually decided to send Sam an email saying, 1. I stand by what I said early and think the advice I gave was solid even if it wasn't what he wanted to hear. 2. But I was sorry if what I said hurt him and that hadn't been my intention at all. 3. That I would, of course, stand by and support Sam if he made the choice to come out, as it was his choice. 4. But I also thought he should make sure he was both physically, emotionally, and financially stable before doing so. 5. I sent him the information for the mental health clinic I go to, which is offering 3 free Skype sessions with a counselor to help people cope with quarantine, and suggested Sam talk things over with one. 6. I also suggested he get his important personal documents together, SSC, birth certificate, passport, etc., together and put them in a secret safe place, even offered to hold on to them. 7. Finally, I said he should make sure he has somewhere to live before coming out. I found a couple of cheap, like $500 per month, places on Craigslist for rent, and put the links in. I even promised to pay for the first month's rent if necessary. Then I sent the email on out and went to help cook dinner. About an hour later, Sam called, but my hands were covered in flour and eggs, so I asked Sis, 16F, to answer my phone and put it on speaker, believing falsely we were about to have a calm adult situation. Sam blew up. For about 30 minutes, Sam just yelled about how 1. There were more accusations of being homophobic/transphobic. 2. Accused me of calling him crazy. 3. Called me a robot. This one hurt the most, silly as it sounds, because I am on the autism spectrum and have a hard time with understanding/expressing emotions in general, which I am very sensitive about. 4. Said he'd never move into any of the apartments I suggested because they were trashy and wondered why he couldn't just stay with me. I tried to explain about my little brother again, only to be told, and I quote, "Why are you so worried about that brat? He isn't your kid, just forget about him right now." Then Sam hung up again and it was Sis' turn to blow. Sis is bisexual and has never really liked Sam, though I never knew why until now. Sis was angry that Sam would say those when I and our family have done nothing but support him. She said that, throughout our years of friendship, it has always been me supporting Sam and never the other way around, despite having my own issues. I tried to argue, but Sis reminded me that, after I had extensive eye surgery in high school to hopefully prevent me from going blind before 30, Sam couldn't be bothered to drop off my schoolwork or drive me to a checkup when no one else was available. She compared that to when I had to leave an important work dinner to pick up a drunk Sam from a gay bar, or when Sam got angry when I decided my old brother's wedding was more important than going to an LGBT+ event on our college campus with him. Honest, Sis has given me a lot to think about. Sam is an important friend to me. I obviously want the best for him, and I'm hoping this is all just stress from the current global situation boiling over or something. But Sis is right in that Sam has spent years expecting to be my number one priority and using me as an emotional crutch. I'm going to give things a few days and see how they turn out. Any thoughts would be greatly appreciated. Now on to the final update. AITA for telling a former friend that he was particularly responsible for his own bad life situation, and I didn't feel bad for him? A few years ago, I, 25F, posted a story about my former friend, Sam, female to male 25. Sam had the misfortune to be born into an incredibly bigoted rich family, and Sam stood to inherit a lot of money from his grandfather. Understandably, both of these things factored into Sam's decision not to come out to his family. At least not until his grandpa died and he got his inheritance. That was until 2 years ago, when he called me very early in the morning to say he'd been thinking about coming out to his parents and asked what I thought. I told him that it was a bad idea due to a combination of him definitely getting written out of the will, getting kicked out of his parents' house and cut off altogether money, health care, etc., not having any savings, and not having another place to stay. Well, Sam didn't like that. He accused me of being transphobic and a bad friend, amongst other things. A few more blow-ups later, which, along with my little sister, helped me realize that my friendship with Sam was unhealthily one-sided. It led to me making the difficult decision to cut Sam out of my life. I sent him one final email saying I was sorry about the fight, that I wished him well in whatever he chose to do, but that I also felt neither of us was getting much good out of our relationship. Then I blocked him and forced myself to push Sam out of my mind. It was hard. I worried about Sam a lot, but was able to move him out of my life. I spent these last 2 years working on myself and it paid off. I climbed the ladder closer to my dream job, am in the best shape of my life, and, most importantly, met my wonderful fiancée. Eventually, I managed to mostly forget about Sam. That brings us to yesterday. I was running errands when I stopped for coffee. When I was waiting for my drink, I heard someone call my name. It was Sam, and he looked rough. To the point I didn't even recognize him at first. Anyway, Sam decided to join me. I awkwardly asked him how he'd been, and Sam launched into this long rant about how hard his life became after he came out to his parents. He got kicked out and cut off by his family. And, since he didn't have enough savings to rent anywhere, Sam ended up having to couch surf for the past 2 years, losing a lot of friends when they got tired of him. Sam apparently got so depressed about everything that he stopped going to work and was finally fired about 6 months ago. When he was finally done, I honestly told Sam that I was sorry for everything he went through. He asked me if that was it, and another blow-up happened. Sam accused me of abandoning him when he needed my help. I said I did offer him help back then, but it just wasn't the help that Sam liked. Then I told Sam that everything that happened to him was something I warned about and that I didn't feel much sympathy for him because of that. He knew the risks, still came out, so he couldn't gripe about the consequences. I left after that, and everyone who knows what happened is split on my response. So, AITA?